Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our weekly San Francisco 49ers rumors and news video here on Chat Sports. We got a lot of news surrounding the 49ers. Some good, some bad with the injuries. We're going to jump into that right now, starting with potentially the Niners looking to find a replacement for the newly injured Jimmy Ward. Now remember, last week, starter OTAs, 49ers had a lot of injuries. Just to jump right off the bat, Jimmy Ward was one of the bigger ones as he broke his collarbone again at OTAs just last week. He's expected to be out anywhere between 8 and 12 weeks, so he'll still be available for the start of the season, but you have a big hole at your safety position as you move forward through OTAs and training camp. And so could the Niners use some of their $35 million in free cap space to go out and sign somebody? And you're wondering, okay, well, who's on the list? We've already broken down a couple of these players. There's 2 of the 4, so you look on your screen right now, that I think could be realistic options for the 49ers to go ahead and grab. Obviously the 4, Eric Berry, Trey Boston, Jonathan Cyprien, and Glover Quinn from the Detroit Lions last year are all free agent safeties who are available right now. The top 2, we'll throw up their numbers right now, their stats that I think are going to be, or should be, realistic targets for the 49ers. One, of course, is Eric Berry. Now I know, Eric Berry, still nursing that Achilles injury from last year, played only 2 games in 2018, he's over the age of 30, he has a lot of things going against him. The last time he had 4 interceptions was 2016. He can still play though, and I still believe in him, especially at a price which hopefully, and should be based on, the Achilles and stuff, discounted a little bit. So you look at an option for the 49ers to bring in and compete with Ward when he's healthy and to fill in for Ward while he's injured. Eric Berry at the right price, to me, I'm surprised we haven't done it yet. The one on this list that I would really actually want to go sign just for best player on the list going forward in the future is Trey Boston, 26 years old, 2, make it or break it deals, 1-year deals where you prove it with the Chargers and the Cardinals last season. And in both of those seasons, really, really good. 14 games starting for the Cardinals last year, 3 interceptions again in 2019. And did I mention he's 26 years old? This is the guy for me. It's like you sit there and you go, why is he still unsigned? Not just with the Niners, but with anybody in the NFL. A young safety who has proved it the past 2 years that he can play. Either he's asking too much or people don't really think he's that great. But again, I've watched the tape. I've read the numbers. It's like the Niners needed a safety. And again, with Jimmy Ward's broken collarbone, this makes a lot of sense. And so hopefully they go out and are able to sign someone. I'm for it. Now you can wait on the Jimmy Ward to heal, but at the same time, how much do we actually believe in Jimmy Ward? Trey Boston, I think if you sign him for the right amount of money, would be a good safety to bring in to compete for that spot. I see your guys' comments every single week. A lot of you are with me on this signing a safety. If you could sign one of these 4, Boston, Eric, Jonathan, Glover Quinn, any of these 4, who would you guys want the Niners to sign right now? Or if you don't want them to sign anybody, just stick with what they have. Go ahead and tell me down below. So, in other injury news, keep an eye on Raheem Mostert. Of course, remember him from last year. Mostert, as you guys know, not at OTA so far this season. He's still recovering from that broken arm suffered back in November. Now, the issue with him is that Kyle Shanahan in one of his press conferences said that Mostert has suffered a quote-unquote setback. And so us in the media are sitting here going, ooh, a setback? Did he have to have like a second procedure on that arm? Is he going to be good for the start of the season? We were all concerned. Well, apparently no need to worry. Mostert took to Instagram a couple of days ago and said he's been cleared for non-contact drills, and also said that, listen, I didn't necessarily have to redo my arm, redo the surgery. I had to go in for a second unanticipated surgery, and you see the quote right there, because of the intense swelling, scar tissue that got between the healing area of my ulna, which hindered my bone from fusing together completely. Now that sounds bad, but Mostert again went on to say in a very lengthy Instagram post that he is going to be good to go for the start of training camp. So the reports of him, and again, Shanahan saying he had a setback, technically were true, but they weren't as bad as we in the media tended to think. So Mostert, again, not at OTAs. He said on Instagram he wants to be there, but should be 100% healthy in time for training camp. Hey guys, remember, last week we did this, the 49ers mailbag. We're doing it again later this week. So go down below this video, get your comments, questions in, and I'll answer them on Chat Sports later on in the week. Use the hashtag 49ers down below the way I know which ones to look at. You can also DM me on Twitter at RealThomasMott as well. I look at all of them, so most likely if you go down and give me a legitimate question for the 49ers, I will answer it later on this week. Continue through the injury news. Again, Nick Bosa, another injury update for him. He suffered an injury during the second OTA of the season this past week with suffering a grade 1 hamstring strain. Now, grade 1 hamstring strain, it's a strain, so it doesn't sound too bad, but he will be sidelined and will be out until training camp, which is, again, rough news for the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft and someone that we expect here in San Francisco to have a big impact. Again, rookie defensive ends tend to not be that big in terms of sacks. You know, Myles Garrett only had 7 his first year. Derek Barnett had like 6 or 5 for Philadelphia. Still, expecting big things from Nick Bosa. So start looking at the injury history here. It's a little bit concerning. Obviously, the hamstring strain this year, the injury to the core muscle injury in early last season that kept him out and made him sit out again basically the entire Ohio State season except for like 3 games. And remember, people tend to forget he tore his ACL back in high school. So, I'm not saying that he's going to be an injury-prone guy for the rest of his career, but the injuries are starting to add up here, and seeing the grade 1 hamstring strain for me was like, boy, okay, get healthy, and then let's just hope he can play all 16 games going through this season and for many seasons to come. Are you guys worried about it at all? Because again, people get injured all the time. It's part of the NFL. He should come back just fine. When you look at the history, you know, the core muscle injury, the hamstring, the ACL, does it concern you at all that a pick that we picked number 2 overall potentially could have this injury bug going forward in his career? I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know down below. Next rumor on here, and this one is a rumor regarding Gerald McCoy and the potential for the Niners to make a run at the ex-Tampa Bay Buc defensive tackle. Now, Gerald McCoy was released last week by Tampa Bay because he was due $13 million a year. The Bucs said, no thanks. We're going to go out and sign Ndamukong Suh for a lot cheaper. They got him for like $3-4 million less. We mentioned earlier with the whole safety situation, the Niners still have money, $35 million. You sit there and you go, well, you don't want to buy into bad contracts, but you could also still improve your team. So they have the money to do it, and obviously we'll throw it up now. The defensive line, the depth chart currently is Bosa, DJ Jones, Buckner, and D Ford. If McCoy came, he would need to start. So you have to put him somewhere on the defensive line because he's not going to come here and be a rotational guy. So it's a question of, you move DJ Jones back, you get rid of Solomon Thomas. What would they do to actually make this happen? The profile for him, the numbers don't jump off your screen. You know, 6 sacks in 2018, 21 quarterback hits in 14 games. But again, he's a defensive tackle, and all defensive tackles not named Aaron Donald or Fletcher Cox, they don't really have massive sack numbers, but they impact plays again, you know, stopping the run and getting quarterback hits and pressures up the middle. So Gerald McCoy to me can still play, and I'd love to have him in San Francisco. Question is, how much is he going to cost? And how much, or would he be willing to come and play for a team that has a lot of good players on the defensive line already? He said he wants to play for a winner. Niners hopefully will be a winner this year, but would you guys be interested in signing Gerald McCoy for the right price? If you could get it for like $10 million, like 10 or 11, not 13, and he probably wouldn't take 8 or 9, but $10 million, I'm all for it. Of all, you know, more pass rushers, the more D tackles, the better. What do you guys think? Again, always go down, type your little comments. I'll read them. We'll talk about them again in our next video. Finally, our last bit of news here. We'll bring some good news because we did a lot of injury reports. Some good news here on the San Francisco 49ers rumors video. Tevin Coleman, remember him? 49ers signed Coleman to a 2-year deal back in March. He, of course, played the majority of his NFL career with the Atlanta Falcons. And the running back joins what is now a crowded backfield with Gerald McCoy and Matt Breida. But one of the San Francisco's lead beat writers, Matt Mayoko, excuse me, I think it's Mayoko from the, I think it's NBC Sports there in the Bay Area, wrote a column this week saying that Coleman is expected to be the lead back for the San Francisco 49ers. Now here's his quote from the column. Coleman is a clear favorite with the next 3 players in line, McKinnon, Breida, and Mostert, talked about earlier, unable to participate in OTA. So again, the depth chart's going to look something like this. It'll be a rotational. It's not going to be one guy and then a couple of carries for Breida and them. It'll be a rotational thing, but your lead back would be Coleman, 2 would be McKinnon, 3 would be Breida, and 4 would be Mostert. So again, a crowded backfield. Got to get touches to all these guys, but still one of the better backfields in the entire NFL. Yeah, if you didn't watch a lot of, Atlanta Falcons games this past year, Devontae Freeman got injured in I think the second game for the Falcons, so he was done for the rest of the year. And so in came Tevin Coleman, who normally was the second fiddle to Devontae Freeman, had 167 carries, 800 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And again, that was not necessarily being the lead back for an entire season. And as a whole, the offensive line for the Falcons was bad running the football. So you bring a guy like Tevin Coleman in on a 2-year deal, and apparently he's already turning heads here at OTAs and is making a case to be the starting lead back for the San Francisco 49ers. It'll still be rotational. You're not going to see Coleman for 3 downs, or you see Coleman for 2 downs, and then you'll bring in Breida for 1. It'll be rotational. You'll have drives where McKinnon will start, drives where Breida will start. But overall, for me, I'm fine with Coleman being the lead back, but I'm just excited overall about having basically 4 good running backs once more Mostert is healthy to sit here and go, all right, Jimmy G, I know you can pass it, and you like to pass it, and also turn right around and hand the football off. So exciting times here, especially from the 49ers offensive side of the football. And here's what we're going to do, as you see it thrown up on your screen right now, another 49ers mailbag video coming to you later this week. So to get your questions in, you scroll down on this video, put the hashtag 49ers first, then type in your question for me, and I'll answer it in video form in like 3 or 4 days. You can also DM me on Twitter. You should always be following me on Twitter as well, at RealThomasMott on Twitter, to be able to get your questions in that way. But I'll say it again, the easiest way to do it is to comment down below. So once this video ends, scroll down, ask the question, and then be sure to subscribe to Chat Sports and tune in just a couple days. And every single week here, we do 49ers videos. So we will do a 49ers mailbag coming up here in the next couple of days. That's it for our news and rumors video. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have a fresh one for you guys next week as always. This is Thomas Mott signing off for Chat Sports. Enjoy the rest of your day.